What we know about Elizabeth Holmes, the Theranos founder, as she awaits trial. After the release of a major podcast and HBO documentary, the story of Theranos is on everyone's lips again. Years after the scandal broke in Silicon Valley, the story has gained new life as founder Elizabeth Holmes awaits trial on fraud charges. When Theranos launched, the idea was so appealing, soon big names like former Secretaries of State Henry Kissinger and George Shultz and retired General James Mattis were on the Theranos board. The problem? It was all an illusion. The story went global after a 2015 expose by John Carrero of the Wall Street Journal. In the aftermath, in March 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission settled a fraud suit with Holmes. In June, a related video, The Rise and Fall of Elizabeth Holmes and her startup Theranos, provided by ABC News. As Holmes now awaits trial in Northern California, erase what we know about her life now. Where does she live? According to a published in February, Holmes currently lives in a luxury. Holmes, the feature continues, has told former co-workers that she's a popular fixture among her San Francisco neighbors. She says she is. What is she doing now? As part of her, Holmes cannot serve as the officer or director of a public company for 10 years. But ABC's who is her fiancé? Although Holmes' high-profile romantic interest was Balwani Yu, the pair quietly dated and lived together while running Theranos Yu. She's no longer with him. Theranos is now, her fiancé is William Evans, the grandson of the founder of the Evans Hotel Group. Evans Hotel Group. What does her real voice sound like? One of the most startling revelations about Holmes' personal life is that, apparently, this isn't her real voice. Former employees told they. When does her trial start? There is no date yet for her trial. Holmes and Balwani.
Raindrop, truck top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.